Babes Behind the Beats with Jess Bowen and Bowie J.
G'day. It is Bowie Jane with Jess Bowen for Babes Behind the Beats, and we have a very special guest today. It is Miss Reilly from Big Brother this season. You all know her. She's amazing, hilarious, funny, beautiful, and she's here with us. Welcome.
Yay. Hello. Hi, Liz. I miss you both so much. I'm so excited we can do this today and we can chat. It's been forever.
I know. Like, after the show, Riley stayed with me and we just basically hung out. We were killing ourselves laughing for 10 days straight. And having a few bevies as well. It was lots of fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had some bevies with you guys, too. So that was pretty. I can
There was
confirm.
That karaoke stage has seen better.
There were parties every night. My God. No, it was
It
great.
was so fun.
Thank you so much for being here, Reilly. Obviously, you're one of my faves. After I was watching Big Brother, you were early on a favorite, and you were on the show with her, but I'm curious to know a few things too. So we kind of want to just dive into like your experience with it and stuff. So I guess I'll let Bowie kind of take it away.
Yeah,
here.
well, actually, Riley, I think it'd be nice to get some background on you. Like, where did you grow up? And then we'll go into like why you went on Big Brother, I reckon.
Yeah. So I live in Nashville now. I've lived here for about a year and a half, but I'm originally from Maine. So I was born in New England, raised in Maine in a very teeny tiny town where there's like more animals than people.
We like
my
that.
town. Anytime I describe my town to people, I tell them it's like a Hallmark movie town where there's one cafe and like the neighbors all know each other and they bake cookies and go to the beach and eat ice cream and there's babies and old people. It's just like so simple.
Is it like Gilmore Girls? Do you know what I'm talking about? Is it like a Gilmore Girls town?
Kind of.
Okay.
Honestly, kind of. Yeah. So I was born and raised again in Maine and stayed there my whole life until randomly one day I was like, wait a minute, I want to do something different. So I was visiting my friend who lives down here, who's now my roommate. I just moved into my apartment. I'm still in the process of that, but her name is Haley. I came here on a trip to visit her, and I ended up signing a lease. So I immediately went down to Nashville.
I remember this story in the house. You said you'd moved to Nashville. You met her. You went to visit your friend. Then you're like, I'm not going back.
Yeah, pretty much. And I survived. I made it. So I'm still here.
Where did you go to college?
I went to a small maritime school called Maine Maritime Academy. It's in way northeast Maine. It's on a 17-mile-long peninsula on the ocean, and I'm pretty sure, like 87% male.
Oh, wow.
And it's all engineers. Yeah, we have like a ship on campus that they'll teach the engineering students and the deckhands on the boat, and they'll bring them around like on a thing called cruise. So like a lot of people do, like if you think of bigger schools with traveling abroad and programs like that, our version of that is them operating a giant training ship and like going around the world. I did not do that. I wasn't in the engineering program. I studied international business and logistics. So I was one of the very few people on campus who didn't have to wear a uniform every day, but very small. There was like 1,200 kids, I think.
Wow, that's
smaller than your average high school.
Small.
Yeah, Riley
So
is smart,
small.
everyone. Riley's smart, so like no one knows your background. You know, they're just like
I
just
know,
have stabs
it's funny.
online, you know?
Did you play like sports, or did you play basketball or something? Am I making that up, or did you?
Yes.
You did, right? Did
Yep.
you play in college?
Big basketball girl here. Yeah, so I did play in college. So growing up, I actually originally, my first sport ever was gymnastics, and I did that when I was like a teeny tiny bopper. Like I was so small, and my mom was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put you in dance," and then she ended up putting me in basketball because my mom was a basketball player.
Oh, your mom was
not ballet.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so my mom was my coach growing up. Like she coached in the local rec league. So from the moment I could dribble a basketball, like I played. And I did do soccer and track and stuff like that, but once I hit high school, it was just basketball, and I did AAU year round. So we traveled to other states and play in like big tournaments and stuff. And then that led into me wanting to play in college. So basketball was literally my whole life until I stopped playing. Like I think my junior year I stopped playing, but like I was just basketball, sports, go to practice, go home. I didn't ski at all yet. Like I didn't have a winter. Like it was very just sports oriented my whole life. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, so you moved to Nashville, and then how long were you there before you applied for Big Brother?
I was only there for probably like, I would say like 3 or 4 months before
Oh,
Big Brother was even in the picture. Yeah. So I had just gotten there, and obviously it was one of those things where it's like, I come from such a safe, small little place where everyone knows everyone. And it's very like, I know I could drive somewhere blindfolded. Not really, but like it felt like I could, and I arrived in Nashville and I was like in that state of, what have I done? I've made a huge mistake. I'm here by myself. Like I had my friend, but ultimately, like I have myself. And I was just in this crazy state of, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I want to go back. I don't know anybody. I don't even know. Like, I literally didn't even have a job before I moved. I just went, and I got one pretty quickly. Like, I literally went up and down Broadway.
Yeah, I mean, the bar you work at's one of the biggest bars.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I've been there.
Yeah,
a bunch,
I got so lucky. I mean, I got lucky, and I thank my lucky stars for it every day. But I was just in this state of confusion, and I was honestly depressed, and I was just like, I'm not doing the right thing. This was too spontaneous, whatever. And then I feel like right when I was in that state is when Big Brother came into the picture, and I got a DM from a casting associate. And I obviously, like, I grew up watching the show, so I'm like, oh, like, is this real? I don't know. Is this just like my phone? You know, when your phone listens to you and like you all of a sudden have an ad for, I was like, oh, maybe it's the algorithm, And then I looked them up on LinkedIn and I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. And I texted my mom. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do?
That's crazy.
And so, so that it just kind of evolved from there. But it was in a state of, it was like, it happened when I was least expecting or needing anything. And it just, boom. And here we are.
Like, what month was that? Because I think I applied in March, and then I heard like 3 days back. 3 days later, they contacted me because obviously I was kind of late when I applied. But
yeah, I think it was the January to February window. I could be wrong. It's been a while. So I don't even remember. But I think it was in like the early part of the year. Definitely like January, February.
And it was so long, the casting process.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, so what is, okay, so you get DM'd by a casting director, which I would also automatically think is fake or spam or something. So then after that, you look it up, it's real. What happens? Like, what is the next step to that? Like, do you just have phone calls? Like, can you tell us what the casting process is like?
Well, I'll tell you what my immediate reaction is like, why did they pick me? Normally when they reach out to people, it's like they're this athlete or they're this influencer who has thousands of followers. I'm just like an average Joe from Maine with like maybe 3,000 or 4,000 followers on Instagram. I'm not entertaining. I barely post anything. Like, I'm like, why do they want me? First of all. And then once I got over that, I obviously DM'd them back. I'm like, I'm a huge fan of the show and I would love to talk to you. They're like, okay, let's call tomorrow. Let's have like a 15-minute quick interview. So we did that, basically just like asking, are you a competitive person? Who's your favorite past player? Stuff like that. Just very surface level questions just to get a feel for like who I am and, what I'm about and how much of the show I know, whatever. And then from there, I just remember like not knowing if I butchered that or not and just being like, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it was really cool. And then I think a few days later, I got a call from a Los Angeles phone number. And unless it's a telemarketer, that just never happens to me. So I answered and it was another person from casting. And they're like, okay, we're gonna, actually, you know what? I did submit a video too.
Yeah.
Okay. So after I had that now it's coming. Sorry, it's fuzzy. It was literally a year ago.
Yeah.
So I got that DM, then the 15-minute phone call, and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna send this, in, but you should also apply online and do a video. So I did a video. Obviously, I talk so much that I had to like shrink it. I literally bought one of those apps that you can like shrink the video down so it fits like the byte amount on the website.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Like, how long was your video? Because a lot of people question that. I think mine was, I thought mine was a minute and a half. I think it might have been 4 minutes or something.
I was going to say mine, when I cut it down, was probably like 6 minutes. I was just talking. I don't even know what I was doing. I literally don't even know what I had to say.
I was going to say, like, how do you know what to do in the video? Are they like, hey, answer these questions in a video or nothing? They're just like, just make a video?
Literally just like a video telling us telling us about yourself. Like that is all I got really.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting there like, I'm all boys school and I don't even know what I said. And if I watch it back, I'd be really embarrassed. Like I just want to delete it off the computer. But I did so many different ones too, because I'm like, oh, they're gonna hate that I'm sitting there for hours on my computer. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and then
it was, yeah.
then you just press send and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
what it
that's
is.
literally what my mindset was. I'm like, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because like, why on earth am I going to get my hopes up? There's no way in hell that Big Brother is going to want me. Like that was my mindset, and it's a horrible mindset. But like, I don't want to work myself up, and just be sad because I really wanted it. So I was like, it's fine, whatever. And then I got the call from Los Angeles, and it was another casting person. They're like, okay, we got your video, we saw your interview, whatever, or we heard your interview. Let's move forward. And then from there, it just moved forward, and it just kept, and Bowie, you can probably speak on this too. Like it just kept getting more intense. And I was like, wait, it was like so much. And I don't know why I didn't think like, just even like towards the end, signing releases and NDAs. And like, I kept it a secret for so long. I'm like, they're going to find me. They're watching me. I can't tell anybody.
But don't you reckon, I thought like once I got through 3 interviews or whatever, I was like, well, it looks like I got it. So, and then it's like 45 interviews later, you're like, wait, this is still going.
You're like, do I have it? Do I actually have it? Because yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that it's
I
that
know.
many
It
interviews.
just kept going.
It
was a lot. Because it was like, it was that first one, and then it was another one with that other casting producer that called, and then it was like, okay, you're going to meet these producers, and then you're going to do another one with these producers. And it was just like, at one point, I just remember a Zoom with like 8 people in it. I'm sitting there like, oh, I don't even know what to say.
Wait, did you ever meet with them in person?
No.
At a certain point, or was all Zoom?
Yeah, it was all Zoom.
All Zoom.
Whoa.
Which is, that's from COVID, but like
I guess,
it's way better. I was like having my first gig at EDC. And that was my week of, when they do CBS and all that. And I was having like all these castings during the day. Oh, and the biggest gig of my life. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
It was
stressful.
so bad. Like,
stressful.
And they're like,
I
you
feel
look
like
a bit
that's a thing,
tired.
though. That's the thing. I feel like everything falls on the same weekend, or like anything big I have going on all happens on the same like couple days. That just happened to me last weekend. I went down to Florida with my friend for her little sister. We surprised her little sister for her cheer competition in Orlando.
Cute.
And I didn't realize it was the same weekend I was moving out of my apartment. And I'm like, this would only happen to me. Why does everything happen on the same weekend? I was so stressed.
No, when it rains, it pours. That's always what happens.
And the whole
Yeah,
packing as well. Like then once you get to the end, they don't tell you you're on, but you think probably I've got this far, I'm probably going to be on, so you got to pack. And then they take your phone and you're gone.
Yeah, and then your phone's gone, and then you're just like, okay, I've lost connection with everyone, and then they'll find out eventually it's because you're on that show. But damn, that's crazy.
And then you're in that
and they literally call it. What was it?
Then you're in the stupid hotel locked up for 2 weeks with no opening windows.
2 weeks before you
It's
go
horrible.
on? No, because you're doing all
days.
the promo.
My semester was 12 days.
Wow.
And I remember there's probably still a mark on the window from my forehead, because every morning I would wake up and like I would look forward to my scrambled eggs and my fruit cup. That's like, because I loved when the handlers would like come to our room and take our order and stuff, because that's literally the only human interaction we had. And we weren't allowed to obviously like leave the room or anything. So I got up. I didn't even know, Bowie, did you know that we could request music? I know we did movies, but did you know that we could? I think Mimi had music. I think Kirsten might have had music.
So we just had just a DVD player, and that's all we could watch. And it was so I watched 10 series of Friends. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
5.
I watched The Office, and I watched 17 again, like probably 17 times.
Yeah, I watched The Office as well. We were both swapping discs.
That's insane.
And so we're all in different rooms, and we obviously don't know who's in the other room. The only interactions we've got is with the handlers. So that's why that first day when we go in, we're all like a deer in headlights. Like, and we're competing on that first day.
I guess that makes sense, because when I talk about the promo things, it's like you guys had your video, like your pictures and all, and whatever you took, but you would have been separated for all that, and then they kind of put it together as like a collage.
Not only that, they blindfold you.
Oh my
going
God!
To set.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
forgot
my
about that
God.
until just then. They blindfold you going to set, and I get car sick, so I'm like trying to look at the ground through there with that.
Wild.
Yeah,
So
well, it was
wild.
funny because like I didn't know it was going to be that intense, because they even kind of like warn you in a way. They're like, yeah, we're gonna, we call it a kidnapping. I didn't realize it was literally like a kidnapping. They literally come and they take your phone. This is how it goes. They give you your key. They surprise you. Because at that point, you think you're just like in the top 25. And like, they kind of frame it in a way where it's like, we're going to come send a crew to you. And, we're going to videotape you like one more time and make a final package and send it to the decision maker people. And then you're going to know. So like that reaction was genuine when I got my key. I was like, wait, what?
I was wondering how. I was like, they have to know that they're going because there's a film crew being like I thought it was so like planned, but that's wild.
I had no idea.
That's crazy.
And I kind of like, obviously in the back of my mind, again, the whole time my mindset was like, if you don't get it, you're going to be fine. Like, you're probably not going to get it. So don't work yourself up. But when when the crew came, I was like, okay, that would be really sick and twisted. They came to me and they made me feel special. And then they were like, yes, you're fine. And a waste of money. Like, that's a lot to have a whole crew come out.
Yeah, right.
But like,
it's like when you look back on it, you're like, oh, that makes more sense. But it's like, you're told something, so you believe it.
But they literally take your phone and like, from that point forward, it's just you and your handler, and everything you do, they like have to be next to you. Like the whole flight to California, my flight was probably like 4 hours. I had no music, like nothing. Like it was literally just me silent on the plane. And like, and at that point, I had literally gone to the emergency room like before the crew got here. Yeah, like I had this weird tonsillitis thing, so I was dealing with that. I had to go. Did I tell you that, Bowie?
I don't know when you told me, but I do know this.
Yeah, like right before, of course, like I said, everything happens at once for me. When it rains, it pours. Like I'm so serious. I of course developed this like tonsillitis in my throat.
My God.
The night before I was supposed to film with them. They were coming to Nashville to like put the camera on me and everything. And I was like, oh, perfect. So I went to the ER at 3 a.m. My whole side of my face was swollen. My throat was closing. Yep. And I was like, again, I'm like, they're watching me. So the doctors are like, okay, like you're going to be here for a little bit. We have to put obviously like IVs in you and give you a scan and whatever. And I'm like, okay, but can I be done by 7 a.m. because I have work?
Oh my God.
They're like, well, can you call out? I'm like, actually, I really can't.
This is the one time I really just can't.
I went straight from the ER to where we were filming. They filmed at my work. I went from the ER. I stayed up all night and I went right there. So like when I was on the plane, my throat hurt and I'm like, it's dark and they're blindfolding me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm really getting kidnapped. This is like the worst day ever.
That's insane.
And then how about the first, like when we went into the house for the first time, we went in blocks of 4. I can't remember who you went in. I can't remember who I went in with, to be honest.
I don't know.
But I know I went in with Kirsten. But it's like the exhilaration that I've never felt adrenaline like that before. And I've been on stage a million times. Like it was so intense. And
they probably do that on purpose, right? They want you to feel so like you were, like by yourself for so long with your own thought, everything. And then you're like, finally, like, people and something to do.
And then you've got to compete.
And then you go immediately into competition.
Yeah.
Wait, so I want to kind of dive into like Reilly, like what was your, like going into Big Brother then, like what was your strategy for, like, did you have one going into it, or were you kind of like, or were you thinking like, I'll just figure it out as I go? Like,
honestly, I have learned in my life that every time that I have a plan, it usually goes sideways. So I try not to plan so much. I'm pretty sure I told them that in the diary room. They're like, what's your strategy? I'm like, I do not know, because every time I have one, it doesn't ever work out that way. So, but I mean, originally, obviously, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, win so much at first. And I want my social game to take over. I just want to be friends with everyone and make them really like me. And then eventually when I have to start winning, I'll win. And then of course I saw a balance beam and I'm like, well, shit, here I go. I gotta win.
No, I started, when I knew it was a balance beam, I started telling everyone, I've got terrible balance, everyone, which I do, but I really hammed it up. And then I was like on the balance beam trying not to win. And I was like, fuck, I think I'm going too fast because the buzzer hadn't gone yet. And then I was like, then the buzzer went and I went, oh no.
I'm just like so competitive, and it pisses me off sometimes when I'm so competitive. Like literally yesterday I was at the gas station, and I think I posted this on my Instagram because I was like, does anyone else do this, or am I just like literally sick in the head? Like I go to the gas station, I put the gas pump on and I let it pump, and I'm sprinting, like cleaning my car, and I have to beat the gas pump before it beats me,
I
and I
did
get
see this. And I am that way. I really am. I actually am the same way where I'm like, all right, we got this much time. Like, get everything, clean it, throw everything away.
I've never tried this. I might get into it.
No, I fully relate to that.
No, you don't want to. Once you're in, you can't stop. Everything I do, I'm like, I literally have a problem. But I mean, when it came to that comp, I'm like, I don't need to win, but I kind of want to win because I can't handle the fact that I would be mad at myself if I lost.
It was actually not, as I think we spoke about in the house, it's not a bad one to win because all you were doing was pulling 4 people were nominated. You just had to save 2 people. So it really wasn't too bad. But the problem was it showed you were strong. Also what was the next thing? The hanging from the air. What was that comp? The veto?
Oh, the wedgie one?
Yeah.
Oh, the atomic wedgie.
Atomic wedgie.
Yeah.
I've wiped everything from my memory. So
yeah,
that one, I was like, oh, she looks good. But I was like, cool, I want to align with her. I was never like, the strong people should go. I'm like, let's join a strong team. Like,
well, and then so you won the first competition, and then it kind of went like sideways in the sense that someone I can't remember exactly. I'm trying to remember. I watched it all, but I'm even trying to remember.
She really watched it, live feeds and all.
Yeah, everything. It was with the Heisem stuff, right? It was someone said to Heisem that you were targeting him. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, and I know, and I have a problem with like speaking when I shouldn't.
Here's the thing: you were being truthful, probably, because were you targeting him? Were you like, maybe I will go vote him out if I'm head of household or whatever?
The thing with me was like, when you're in that position, nobody prepares for that, right? So like, I win the HOH, and then I feel like everyone is just watching my every move.
Yes,
like the first alliance is like, it's Reilly's fault. Like everything is just Reilly's fault, and that's how it felt. And honestly, like I had made that alliance with Jag. Like we had the handful, and then we had family style, and then Jared and Suri. Obviously, I didn't know that was even a thing. I thought they were close. I didn't think that he was the bridge of communication to the other side of the house who fully knew. Like, and that was a huge surprise for me, obviously coming out of the house and watching back. I'm like, oh, this checks out. Like, this is why everyone was watching, because they actually knew. And Heisem obviously was a super strong competitor. He was on the other side of the house. And I'm like, well, he's probably going to get me, so I should get it.
So it was that mindset.
And I shouldn't have said anything. Yeah, I shouldn't have. I just should have kept my mouth shut and stopped being so paranoid. Like I literally was just rotting up in that room. Like, I want to get out of the room. Like,
yeah, and being in the room is not that good. Like it's great having the room, but it's also very isolating. So it's like a trick, and everyone's sucking up to you when you're HOH. Like it's like ridiculous. Everyone is. They change all their personalities, but at the start you don't know that because you don't know what anyone's personality is. But I was like watching people who'd been rude to me suddenly be seriously nice to me, and I was like, boo.
Yeah.
It's definitely hard. I remember winning that first HOH, and then from that point until literally 4 a.m, it felt like it was just one-on-one. It felt like I was the Bachelorette. It was like a cocktail party, and everyone's like, I just kept hearing ding dong. You have a minute to chat. Ding dong. You have a minute to chat. Like, I actually haven't had a minute to like pee, you know?
Yeah.
But also it's like you're in a position where it's like, I'm really tired and I'm stressed out, but I can't say no because then people aren't going to like me. It's totally a social game.
Yeah.
Like it's a social experience. Like social game starts now, and your impression you make on people, especially as the first HOH, like that is going to be how people, it's going to be very hard for people to change their view on you. So I'm like trying my best to just like remember every detail of every conversation. In my heart, I'm like, I want to be aligned with everybody. Like everyone's so awesome. And I don't know how to take people down. Like, I don't want to do that. So in my head, I'm just like, how do I even navigate this? I can't make an alliance with every single person. Yeah. I'm such a people pleaser too, that it's like, I don't ever want to say no to anybody, and I don't know how to say no sometimes. So I'm like, oh, I just wanted to end. Yeah. I should not have been the first HOH.
Well, did Heisem come into the room to talk to you? I mean, I remember you guys did have a talk where he like, you cried, I think, because he was so like, not aggressive, but he basically was like, was this after? I'm trying to remember the events that unfolded. Was it you won and then he won like a veto or something, and then that's when he voted you out?
I'm trying to remember too, because it was so fuzzy, but he did have we had a couple conversations, and I think my tears came from like my own frustration, I think, with myself and just like how I had handled my HOH and like the position me and my loud mouth put myself in, and like my paranoia. Cause in normal daily life, I don't crack like that under pressure. So it was pretty defeating to feel like that and to feel like I got sucked into this like dark place that I couldn't crawl out of.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think the sequence of events was I won the HOH, he won that atomic wedgie veto, and then Kirsten left, and then the next week he won escape the nether gorgon or escape the nether region. I don't remember the silly little names they have, but
The nether gorgon
and then
and
he
in
won,
the nether region. Yeah.
and then he won twisted tasks, and I obviously at that point like
Hang on a
it
sec.
was
Sorry, my dog is
inevitable
being. Sorry, my dog is being.
Oh.
insane. Sorry, everyone. This is just going to take 1 second.
Such a
in,
hot topic.
Little Tony. Tony is here. He is.
Okay.
We
Tony
have
is
Tony back,
yapping.
and
There he
Tony
is.
just really wanted to know about all the competition.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
Tony's
so
like,
then-
I need to hear about the atomic wedgie comp.
Yes.
Oh, the nether gorgon one. I also had to work out how to throw that because I accidentally kept getting through rounds with that one.
You did well on that one. I
I was
remember.
like, shit.
Always like
remember.
everything I did was an accident. I actually didn't mean to be in the final three.
I was like, I'm trying to lose everything.
Yeah.
No, for the record, I was trying to win everyone, but at the end, not every individual comp, because everyone will be online going, oh, she wasn't even trying. Oh my God,
Yeah.
but whatever.
But
Oh, Lord.
yeah, I mean, so obviously looking back on it, I imagine, do you feel like you would have done it differently, as in you probably wouldn't have tried to win the first one, even though you would have been mad at yourself?
Yeah, I think that I mean, I have had so much time, and being the second boot, which is embarrassing in itself, I'm also the most critical person of myself in the whole world. Like, there could be thousands of people on the internet that are saying this and that, and she sucks, and she's a whatever, second boot, but I'm actually worse to myself. So what I do when I mess up, I go back and I dissect it. Like, I was on the live feeds. Like, once I left the house, first of all, I didn't even go back to Nashville. I flew to Maine and I laid on my mother's couch. This is so embarrassing, but I was literally in the fetal position to the point where like I had made a dent in the couch because I wouldn't leave the couch. I was sitting there on the live feeds, bawling my eyes out every day. Like,
Oh my God.
because not only are you dealing with like, I mean, it's so crazy because it's like, oh, she's so dramatic, but it's like, it's not a game. It's like so personal.
It
and
really is.
I just cared so much, and I'm so sensitive to the point where it's like, oh, I was just more mad at myself. I wasn't mad at anyone else. I was mad at myself, and I just saw myself doing way better. It's like you invest so much time. Like I said, the casting process is months and months and months, and you're holding the secret, and you're like preparing, and you pack, and you subject yourself to like being on a public platform and embarrassing yourself. And it's like all of that to be evicted the second week, and it's my fault. Like, that was so hard to deal with. And then on top of that, it's my first time, back to real life. And it's like a whole different version of life, because it's like you go from being the small town nobody girl, which that life is awesome. Like, I like my privacy. And then you go and do this big dramatic thing, and then obviously it gets ripped out from underneath your feet, and then you have to go home and act like you're just fine. And then you're dealing with the internet, and you're dealing with watching all of your friends still in the house and like talking about you, and seeing your loaf of bread in the corner and like your water bottle, and like wishing you were there so badly. Like I said, I'm so competitive that I was just so pissed, and I was so frustrated, and I was so sad. It was literally the equivalent, and this is so dramatic, but like it felt like the equivalent of getting cheated on, dumped, and like ghosted. Like, that's how it felt.
That's
like,
how
I was
much
just like,
it hurt.
oh.
But being able to watch the person you ghosted, but yeah, it's full on. Like, because I haven't watched it, I don't want to put myself through it. So I'm interested to know that you thought that was a good idea to watch the live feeds. But I guess
Horrible.
I mean,
I don't suggest. So
Wait.
you don't want to see it. My friend
I'm not
showed
gonna
me
watch
how
it.
to go back in the live feeds too. Like, he showed me how to like go see everything. So not only did I watch the live feeds, like the current live feeds, like that day, I was sitting there looking back to my eviction week and hearing all the things people were saying about me, and like,
Oh no.
just sitting there just like torturing myself. And I'm so sensitive that that hurt me.
and
That
people
hurt really
were
bad.
people were nasty in a like at me and at you in that eviction week. They were nasty about you in ways that, like, they're saying that, oh, you're just a pretty girl, whatever, to me. And I'm like, well, what's that got to do with it? Like, she's,
why is that
why
something that you hold against her?
Why are you judging her because she's
pretty? We hate
like,
her.
Dude, like, you sound like you've
Oh
got
my
a
God,
chip
it
on
looks
your
so
shoulder.
pretty.
I was like, you got a chip
was,
on your shoulder.
It was weird. It was definitely weird because I feel like we as humans are designed to like not hear every conversation that happens behind our back. But I had the luxury of going onto my computer and being able to see every single conversation that ever happened in that house while I was there. And that, I did it to myself, obviously, but it definitely hurts to see. Like, nobody ever, and even Big Brother aside, nobody ever wants to like hear people talk negatively about them, right? Like, that just hurts in general, just on a human level. And I feel like everyone talks shit, right? But like in a game where it's just supposed to be about the game, I definitely like looked back and I was like, oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I don't hold a grudge, but like I was definitely like,
that's hard.
Yucky
It's really hard.
This is people who know they're on TV and they're behaving like that. They're bullying on TV. Now, what are they like? What are they like in real life? These people. That's what I want to know.
I was frustrated with the bullying for sure because it was happening. Like I said to you when I was watching, I got really protective of you, but I saw it even with you, with with a lot of people. It's just there was a lot of people just have. I don't know. There were certain people, I guess, that had that tendency to just be a bully,
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is like, and looking back, I'm like, oh, I was really mad. And like, even during the season, I'm like, not even mad, but I'm just like, oh, that's really disappointing. And my feelings are hurt. But I also am one of those people who tries to give everyone the benefit of the doubt too. Like, I think we're in a house and it's like, we're all mentally like we didn't even have human interaction for 2 weeks and then we go in there and it's all of a sudden the Hunger Games and we were just trying to survive and like nasty parts of people kind of come out like because you're just put in this situation. It's not to say that there's an excuse to ever like talk about people like that or anything, but it is a lot of pressure. And I definitely I self-reflect a lot. I'm like, I look back on moments where I have been a nasty beyond not because I'm like that person, but I'm just like, oh, like I'm just so stressed out and like I'm not myself. And then I calm down. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Like there's things that I do give people the vent. I just don't want to hold a grudge either. Like we got so much going on. Like we have our own lives and whatever. So I do my best to try to remove myself from that because every time I think about it, I get so upset. So I'm like, how can I help myself?
Yeah. Well,
it's definitely weird.
One more thing I wanted to touch on. Because I also watched all the live feeds and everything. So I was there seeing all the like, how does it feel to be so like admired by someone that was still in the house? Like Matt confesses that he has like this crush on you and then you leave the house and then you're seeing he's like using your hanger and like making like a heart with your or like what I mean, and like has like a shrine of you and stuff like that. Like how did that feel?
And carving the initials in
carving the initials. Your initials. I saw all these things and I was just like, oh my God, I wonder if Reilly is like seeing this happen like in real time.
I saw all of it.
You saw it all?
Yeah, I fully saw all of it. I mean, I'm sitting there glued to these feeds because ultimately, like at that time, I really liked him. And I'm not even afraid to admit that. Like some people are, but like I did really like him. And I should have told him I did in the house. But obviously, like there's so many reasons why I didn't. My romantic brain obviously wasn't turned on. That wasn't the priority. No. Like I'm not there to meet a boy. I'm there to win 750 grand. So it's like, I was on the verge of getting evicted. Like I was just not in a place to like express that. Also, I've been single for so long. I'm awkward. Like I don't want to admit that I like someone. First of all, in general. Second of all, on national television.
Yeah, because he approached you, didn't he? He approached you in the house, right?
Yeah,
before you left.
Yeah, he was like, he told her that he would feel bad if he didn't say it to her. Like if she did get evicted, he's like, I can't like let you leave without me telling you this, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I obviously just, even in real life, my friends can attest to this. Like, I am so awkward. Like, sometimes just, oh, yeah. Even though I feel it, I just can't say it. So obviously I left the house and I was dealing with the emotions of that too. Cause I'm like, oh, not only am I evicted, I also like should have said something to him and I was really upset and whatever. But it is like, it's crazy to watch that stuff happening. And it's like,
Yeah.
just, you get so close to people within like that 2 week span, you just get so close to people. And then, you know, to watch it go all the way to day 100, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute. Everyone was like, that's creepy. I thought it was cute, you know?
Yeah, you thought it was cute.
Yeah, it's dedication. Like, as you're watching him, you can't do anything about it. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm not telling him to carve my initials into a puppy.
no, I was even surprised by that. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
The shrine, the Reilly shrine, the Reilly shrine.
Yeah.
That was cute. That was cute.
Reilly's promise, baby.
Oh gosh, it's crazy. Now, what have you got going on now? You're back in Nashville. So, you obviously left Maine at some point, went back to Nashville, and then what have you been doing? What have you got coming up?
So, yeah, I mean, I have kind of just been working. I've been traveling around a little bit, just kind of going back to normal. Busy season's coming around now. So we have a million bajillion people in town, tourist wise. So work is definitely picking up, which I love. I mean, I am one of those people who loves to just like, I mean, Bowie, Jess, have you ever been a bartender? I know Bowie's bartended.
I have never, no, but I've been to a lot of bars.
Yeah.
I've served it.
I've been to all her bars.
I've been on the other side, okay? Yeah, so I just love putting my head down and working, and I've been happy to like get back to normal and be with my coworkers and just like with my friends and stuff. So I've been doing that. But on top of that, I have been cooking up a little project with some really talented people. It's a podcast.
Nice.
It's not a Big Brother podcast. We're calling it Quarter Life Crisis. And essentially what it is just getting through your 20s. And it's going to be funny and fun, but also serious at times. Body image, social media, dating, situationships, just like the struggles of being in your 20s and like going through all of that. And, you know, we're going to have guest hosts, and we really want to engage with, you know, viewers. And so we're going to do like a phone in or some sort of engagement type of deal. That's where like exciting. People tell us their personal stories and we give them their advice. Like, it's going to be like you're sitting on the couch with me and we're having girl talk or boy talk or whatever. But you know, so it's going to be, yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's going to be fun. And I'm a professional talker, so I'm sure we're going to have lots to...
you'll be great.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're meant for this. This is your, you're going to thrive, fully thrive.
Yeah, that's
It'll
exciting.
Give me a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Well, we started ours as a hobby, and
here we are
in our
5
years
We're
in our fifth year of
doing
doing
it.
Crazy. You did it. You made it. Yeah. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool for sure. I'm excited to get rolling with that. I think that there's been a lot going on that, you know, I've been pretty quiet. So I think that there's a lot to unpack. A lot to unload. It's a whole other can of worms, but
can you give us maybe like a time frame of when it's coming out, or even a name or anything? Or
yeah, so it's called Quarter Life Crisis.
Right. Okay.
And it's going to be pretty soon, probably within the next few weeks. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, that's perfect.
Yeah. So we're getting rolling. Yeah. I'll start your engines.
Yep.
We'll put the links in our on our Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Awesome! Thank you.
Yeah.
And you guys, and we'll flip it. We'll put it in reverse. You guys will be on for sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, please. I mean, I can talk about my quarter life crisis.
We all
had it.
We all have it.
Like we could come on and be the ones that were like, we're way past it now, but like we had it.
You know what's interesting? When you're 25 or like around that quarter life part, you think you're too old, and then you get to my age or her age, and you're like, oh, I was young then. What a waste. Like,
what was I doing?
Yeah.
I know.
And then
so
when we're 70, we're going to think we were young now. That's the thing. So,
I know.
Yeah.
It just keeps happening.
Crazy how it works like that. I was just thinking about, like, I don't know who I was talking to the other day, but we were talking about high school reunions. And I'm like, wait, high school? I'm 24. I graduated when I was 17. Why have I been out of high school for so long? What's going on? I'm like seeing all these prom pictures. I'm like, holy shit, prom was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so wild. Like when I see people that are like 16 or 17 now, and the way I thought that I looked or acted then, and I'm just like, oh my God, they're babies.
Yeah.
Now I look, I'm like, I was just a baby. And I thought that I was like, oh, I'm cool.
Yeah, you really think you know everything. Like you really do. You're like, oh, I definitely know everything. Yeah. Yeah.
So great.
Craziness.
Oh wait, I
Oh.
want to know you friend do you catch up with anyone from the show?
Yes. I mean, obviously you, and I talk to Jag a lot. I talk to Cam all the time. Red, we actually just visited Red for a little meet and
That's
greet in
right.
Gatlinburg.
I saw that.
Yep, I
couldn't
got to meet Allie
come.
Mae.
I couldn't come
Yep.
because my brother's having a baby.
Oh,
So that was
yay.
in Seattle. That's why I was in Seattle.
Darn it, because everything happened on the same weekend.
I know.
And Corey and America live in Nashville now, so I haven't been able to see them much, only because I have just been working and everyone's been busy. But I did the week that Jag came and Jazz. We got to hang out with Corey in America, which was nice. I got lunch with Corey a week and a half ago, I think. And then Jared, Suri, Izzy came through. So I've been able to catch up with pretty much everybody. I haven't been able to like go visit anyone really.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I live in a place where it's like everyone it's like fun for people to come visit
Yeah.
Nashville. So hopefully you guys come to Nashville. I'm still waiting for the visit here. Come on now.
We definitely will. We've done it. We've already done that in the past together. So
we literally went there just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And I'll be there on tour all
as
the
you
time.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gigged there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
So
Well,
please
Reilly.
do. We can have some McFun.
Yes.
McRowie in the house.
McRowie in the house, baby.
Thank you.
I have one more question. Would you ever do a reality show again?
Yes.
Okay.
I
cool.
think I would. I think that I, again, am so competitive that I'm like,
You wanna get
that
another
was
go.
a robbery. Like,
Yeah.
I need a little reality TV redemption. It'll probably kill me, but I would totally do another one. I just want to see what I can do. Like, I think I had a lot of potential there, and it kind of just fizzled.
Yeah,
So I would love
it'd be
to
good to
try
have another
again maybe
stab
one
at
day.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
all my questions.
Second time's a charm. Second time's a charm.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Reilly. Well, thank you so much for being here. This was an amazing interview. I'm so happy you took time to do this while you're moving into your new place and everything. So thank you so much.
And
I
also,
wouldn't miss it for a thing. I love you guys.
Love you.
Thank you so much, Reilly. And also, if you are enjoying this podcast, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. It really helps us. So we're Babes Behind the Beats, and we'll see you soon.